Hello and welcome back to another Warlords of Draenor alpha video. This time I'm going to be showing you Razorfen Kraul. This whole place has been revamped, and actually, it's really good. I've got to admit, it really is very well done, and it's a lot of fun. So first of all, let's just pick up some quests. Honestly, I think some of those are probably different, but it doesn't really matter. What we care about, of course, is the new mechanics and that sort of thing of the dungeon. The map does look largely the same. Hang on, how about I turn on some music and things? The map does look largely the same as it previously did, but you'll notice a few things. First of all, I don't know if this is an alpha-only thing, but this is here, and you cannot get past that barrier. Which is fine, because it's not really where you need to go. So let's fight off these guys, and make our way to the first two bosses. All the bosses are either different or have had revamped mechanics, which really is a breath of fresh air, and I've got to say that the mechanics are very good. This is in around level 40 dungeon, by the way, so the mechanics are certainly applicable to the level. Also, look at this. I wonder what happens when I try to go to the previous, the bottom floor that everyone used to be able to go to in the old expansion. Well, you get thrown back out. Let's continue on to the first two bosses so I can show you their mechanics, because they're actually really cool. Okay, so some other random mobs. The mobs are fine. I think maybe some of them might, show off some abilities of the bosses that are upcoming, but other than that, they're not too special, and I think what you guys all care about is, understandably, the bosses themselves. You also notice these. Well, what happens when you go through these is you get chained and attacked. I think that's a nice little touch, and I'd like it if they continue to add more environmental elements into the various dungeons in the game. So let's keep on going through. You'll also notice, these guys have got 4,000 health and they're level 34. In Warlords, the actual mobs I'm fighting at the minute have got around 30 or 40k health. It would seem like, and also that the amount of damage that I do is increased in here to 20k. It would seem like either they're not completely finished with tuning the squish, or, and I think this may be more likely, they're just going to balance things out by increasing the amount of damage you do at lower levels. That's at least how they're coping with it in the alpha. Right, let's not go in there, and let's just make our way to the very first boss of the instance. And I'll bring out the dungeon journal, though I have killed this guy before, so yeah, just for the sake of showing you what the crack is. No, it's not. It's the hunter guy. So this one's really simple. He does a barrage. That's fine. And at 50% health, he will stampede you with a whole bunch of boars. Let's get into combat with him. I'll show you barrage. Obviously, it'll be quite hard getting him down to 50% health without killing him, so we'll see how that goes. But the barrage is actually really cool. Or volley, even. Look at it. Fires little things in the ground to track you. That's a really cool mechanic. And it's certainly a lot better than the things that we previously had in the game. It's very nice to see that, actually. Very nice indeed. He's going to barrage us now, so that's just us taking some damage. Let's try to take him to half health. Ah, really? No, that's half health, so he stampedes. And we get attacked by a whole bunch of boars. The boars themselves aren't killable, they just run after us. So let's just finish him off. That's him dead. Okay, let's move on to the next boss. It was also a fun guy, actually. I've got to say, these bosses are really good, and now, these dungeons are not going to be there at level 100, at least currently. One of the WoW devs said on Twitter that, at least initially, they want you to be doing the new dungeons first. However, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, 1 or 2 patches later, when they add a few new dungeons or something like that, they decide to maybe bring these up to level 100 to give us some new stuff to play with. And maybe add 1 or 2 mechanics to some of these bosses. Let's look at this guy. So he's got Bloodlust. When he's over 75%, he goes into a Blood Frenzy, which increases the damage of him and all of his allies by 50% and their haste as well. That's pretty painful. Now, the main thing he does is these totems. So one of the totems will silence you when you stand in it, and another one will do damage to you. So that's fine, also knocks you back. He then has his ads. One of them, I actually didn't really check out the ads before. One of them will slow your movement, the other one does an AoE. See, this guy just does poison arrows, which deal damage every 2 seconds, and this one just does a large, looks like a large attack that's kind of, well, not premeditated, the telegraph, that's it. Anyway, let's let him do his stuff. So he's doing woven elements, that's just his main nuke, which is fine. he'll nuke us down. Let's wait until he summons his totems. There's our first crystalline totem. See it go onto the ground, and that is the crystal fire one. Now that will do damage in these little pools, and then this will silence us when we stand in it. That's pretty much it for this guy's mechanics. They're actually really cool, and I can imagine this turning into a really rather fun boss fight at a higher level. Definitely very nice to see. Let's keep on going though, and get ourselves over to Ramtusk. I don't remember Ramtusk being particularly interesting in comparison to that guy. I think that guy is actually one of the more interesting bosses in this place. It's pretty cool to see. It really is interesting that they're revamping these old places. Their explanation on Twitter was just they thought they could be better, so they decided to revamp them. I guess that maybe some elements of their dungeon teams or something like that. I've just got a lot of free time. Maybe some of the perhaps more garrison related, and that's what I think anyway, delays to Warlords of Draenor mean that the dungeon team are free just to kind of have a crack at whatever they want. Okay, so here's Ramtusk. Now, inside here we have a Spirit Link totem. When you're in there, it will, every once in a while, reshuffle everyone's health, so that it equals the same, like it shuffles up the health, redistributes the health percentages of everyone inside the totem, though it is separate for players and allies, so essentially it will maybe give everyone 80% health, which is rather interesting. Next we have Ramtusk himself. He just throws an axe at you. That's fine, it does damage to anyone within 5 yards of the strike. Then we have this person who has this broken link thing. Basically, what it does is it breaks the link of the spirits, and basically just, you know, increases healing done, and a few things like that when you're inside Spirit Link Totem, blah blah blah. It's fine. Then there's a bolt, which is just a nuke, and then this guy will do an arcane shot, which leaves a void zone on the floor. So let's go and see these mechanics. The Spirit Link Totem stuff is not really going to be seen by us at the minute, though, because there's only one of me here, and I'm at 100% health, so it doesn't have anything to reshuffle. So that guy's just throwing his nuke. You don't want to stand in that. At least I think it's something that's avoidable. It seems to be at the minute. Of course, everything is there's Spirit Axe. And nothing really hits me because I'm level 100. So, he is just telegraphing attack, and yeah. Come on, I want an arcane shot to happen, please. Still, Spirit Axe is pretty cool, actually. In terms of spell effects, it is a rather impressive fight. So definitely quite nice to see. We just need to wait until something interesting happens in terms of arcane shot. I'd like to see that being done. Yeah, this guy is just there. There we go, arcane shot. So it leaves this little void zone on the floor, which you don't want to stand in. Let's kill these guys and move on to the next boss. You know, for a low-level, a low-level dungeon, that really is a solid enough encounter. I'm impressed. They're bringing mechanics that are simple and readable, I suppose. Like, I do think that fight there is still very readable to a level 34 player. It does make sense to me. But it's really cool that they're bringing some more interesting mechanics to these fights. I think it's going to just make things a lot more fun. Anyway, let's keep on going here. Let's make our way through all these guys. Is he going to attack us? Yes, he is. Now he's dead. Fantastic. Oh, okay. No, his little guys are here. And they are dead too. So the next guy's this thing, Goya the Blind Hunter, which is a big spider. The lore of this guy is that he basically, or she, whatever, basically ate the previous boss that was here. There was a giant boar guy who was supposedly related to that demigod Amagan, or at least that's what the Quillboar thought. So, yeah, unfortunately, he's been eaten. It doesn't seem like this fight completely works at the minute, because obviously that's not really animated. And if we look at the encounter journal, all we have is Drain Life, and then Sonic Field, which, honestly, like, there's not a great deal here. So we'll just stand and let her do her thing. Yeah. Maybe Sonic Field is interesting enough, I suppose. But, I mean, you kind of want more in a boss. So I think this is just going to be either a simple boss or perhaps more of a patchwork style fight. What I do know is that we're just going to kill her. I mean, at least this is awesome. That's really cool, yes, but other than that, there really isn't much there. So let's just kill her and be done with it. Let's double check what this quest is here. Kraul, Guano. I don't really care about the quest. Let's keep on moving. And we'll kill Charla. Razorflank, who's the crone of these Quillbore. So, like many of the bosses here, well, like the other boss, I suppose, she really is focused on different kinds of crystal. Let's move in here. Ah, yeah, guys, you just had to jump in, didn't you? May as well complete this quest. Yeah, anyway. So, she's got these different crystals. One of them will draw everyone in, so it sucks you in, does some damage. This one is, well, you know, just a venom blob that sits there for 2 minutes and fires numerous other little blobs and deals damage, so that's fine. Then there's the Inferno one, which does lines of damage which you don't want to be in. Then finally she has Elemental Binding, which will root you and do damage to you. So let's get going. Of course you'll teach us. This is actually a cool enough fight. It's got interesting mechanics, and the actual spell effects are pretty nice. One thing that I have noticed from these various different... Now there's Elemental Binding going off on me. Of course it's missing all of its damage. Anyway, one of the things I've noticed is the spell effect quality is far higher on these revamps, to the point where they look really cool. It is strange though, seeing like the old style dungeon and then all the new spell effects, but it still works. Ah, come on, would you throw your crystals out? I want to see them. I don't want to risk doing damage to her. Yep, just going to keep on missing. Doing Elemental Binding. Right, we'll do damage, and then we'll turn around. There we go, Crystalline Command. Good stuff. Alright, so... Let's just wait and see how these crystals go. Of course, she puts out these two, and... I really just want this one to fire off, because it's pretty cool. Yeah, like, look at that. That's really awesome. What a nice spell effect. There's the fire one doing its thing. So a big old line of fire. The poison one has... Oh, I killed her. Look, the poison one's very simple anyway. That was a mistake. Still, though, as you can see, an interesting enough boss fight with cool mechanics that certainly for a level 34 player are perhaps not going to be challenging, but what they will do is they'll educate the player. And I think if we're getting players that are being educated by dungeons like this, it could help us out at endgame. And really, hopefully... some more of the dungeons get finished, if this is indeed the case, that some of the dungeon team are just able to go back and do old dungeons as they see fit. That, you know, that could be the case, and hopefully that doesn't take away from the overall expansion, though, and I don't think they ever would let that happen. Anyway, that's it for this quest, in this dungeon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.